Michael cries out with a weight in his voice, not because of fear, not because of weakness, but because something important happened last night that you were not meant to fully see yet. While your body rested, your spirit remained alert. The world around you slowed down, distractions faded, and in that quiet space, a shift took place near your life. You may have felt unsettled for no clear reason, or suddenly calm after days of confusion. You may have replayed a thought, a memory, or a feeling that did not seem to belong to the moment. That was not random. God says you were present for something unseen, even if your mind could not explain it. You were not blind by mistake. You were protected by design. Certain truths were kept from you because you were still healing, still gathering strength, still learning how to trust yourself again. If everything had been revealed at once, it would have felt too heavy. So heaven waited. Michael stood watch as timelines were adjusted and paths were quietly rearranged. Conversations that could have distracted you were delayed. Decisions that felt urgent were paused. Doors that looked promising remained closed for a reason you could not yet understand. None of this was punishment. It was preparation. Last night marked a turning point, not outwardly, but inwardly. Something you have been carrying silently was acknowledged. Something that caused you self-doubt was corrected in the unseen. God says this moment is not meant to scare you. It is meant to awaken you gently. That is why this message found you now. Not earlier. Not later. Right now. You are being invited to pause, to listen, and to recognize that clarity is closer than you think. Stay here. Do not rush away. What is unfolding next will not bring chaos. It will bring understanding, balance, and a quiet confidence that reminds you that you were never forgotten, never ignored, and never alone. Michael speaks softly now, because the hidden truth does not arrive with noise, it arrives with understanding. God says what you are about to realize is not about something going wrong, but about something finally being set right. There was a season where you questioned yourself, where you replayed moments in your mind and wondered if you made the wrong choice, trusted the wrong person, or waited too long. Heaven saw that wait. And last night, a quiet correction took place. Not visible, not dramatic, but real. Something you blamed yourself for was never meant to break you. It was meant to redirect you. You may have noticed lately that things feel paused, as if life slowed down just when you wanted movement. People may have become distant. Plans may not have moved forward the way you expected. God says this was not rejection. This was alignment. What is coming next cannot arrive while confusion still surrounds you. Clarity must come first. That is why this truth is being revealed gently, step by step, so it strengthens you instead of overwhelming you. Michael reminds you that protection often feels like delay, and guidance often feels like uncertainty before it feels like peace. You were not being held back, you were being positioned. Last night, something that no longer belonged in your future was quietly removed. You did not lose anything meant for you. In fact, space was created so the right thing can recognize you when the time comes. God says trust what feels calm, not what feels rushed. If this message feels steady instead of heavy, that is confirmation. Let the understanding settle. Let the noise fade. And if this message is helping you see things more clearly, take a moment to support this new channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, so others who feel stuck or confused can also find clarity at the right time. Michael says the final truth is not something you must chase, it is something you must accept. God says from this moment forward, you are allowed to stop doubting your timing, your choices, and your worth. What was settled last night in the unseen has already begun to change the way you will move through the days ahead. You may not see instant results, but you will feel the difference. Your thoughts will become calmer. Your reactions will feel more controlled. And the heaviness that once followed you quietly will begin to loosen its grip. This is not imagination. This is alignment taking effect. You are entering a phase where intuition becomes clearer than fear. You will notice yourself pausing before reacting, sensing before speaking, and understanding situations without needing every detail explained. God says this clarity is your protection. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. Truth works silently. What belongs to you will find you without force, without pressure, and without confusion. Michael reminds you that growth does not always feel powerful at first. Sometimes it feels like relief. Sometimes it feels like finally being able to breathe again. That is what this moment is meant to bring you. Not urgency. Not anxiety. Just quiet confidence. Stay steady. Stay aware. And remain connected to messages that bring you peace and understanding. If you feel lighter now than when you began listening, that is your confirmation. Support this new channel by staying connected, and remember, divine guidance never arrives early or late, it arrives exactly when you are ready to receive it. Michael continues, not to add pressure, but to deepen your understanding of what is unfolding now. God says this stage is about stabilization. After truth comes grounding. After awareness comes direction. You may notice that situations which once triggered anxiety no longer pull the same reaction from you. Things that used to confuse you now feel easier to read. This is not because the world changed overnight, but because you did. Something settled inside you last night, and from that point onward, your inner balance began to return. There was a time when you tried too hard to understand everything at once. You wanted answers immediately. You wanted signs to be loud and undeniable. But God says wisdom grows when patience replaces urgency. That is why this guidance is arriving calmly. You are being trained to move without panic, to choose without fear, and to trust without needing constant reassurance. Michael says this is strength, not silence. Pay attention to what feels natural now. Certain desires may fade. Certain priorities may shift. This is not loss. This is refinement. You are aligning with what truly supports your future, not what only distracted your past. God says do not underestimate this phase. Quiet seasons build strong foundations. What comes next will require clarity, and you are being prepared to hold it with grace. Remain present. Remain steady. You do not need to rush the process. If you feel more grounded, more aware, and more at peace than before, then you are exactly where you should be. Stay connected to messages that strengthen your spirit, and continue walking forward calmly, because what is unfolding now is designed to last. Michael speaks again, with reassurance rather than urgency, because God says this phase is about trust becoming natural instead of forced. You are no longer being asked to wait blindly. You are being invited to walk forward with quiet confidence. After everything that has shifted within you, it is normal if you feel different in small but noticeable ways. You may feel less reactive. You may care less about proving yourself. You may even feel detached from situations that once consumed your energy. This is not emptiness. This is maturity of the spirit. God says there was a time when you looked outside yourself for confirmation, approval, or reassurance. But now, something has changed. You are beginning to recognize truth internally before it shows up externally. That is growth. That is alignment. Michael reminds you that when guidance becomes internal, confusion loses its power. You are no longer pulled in many directions. Your focus becomes simpler, calmer, clearer. You may also notice that certain connections no longer resonate the same way. Conversations may feel shallow. Expectations may feel unnecessary. This does not mean you are losing people. It means you are gaining discernment. God says you are learning where to invest your time, your emotions, and your faith. This season is teaching you to move with intention, not impulse. Do not rush this stage. Trust is being rebuilt quietly, layer by layer. And as it grows, so does your peace. What is meant for you will not need chasing, that it will meet you where you are, recognizing the steadiness you now carry. Stay open. Stay patient. And remain connected to this channel if these messages bring you clarity, because guidance continues to unfold when you allow yourself to listen without fear. Michael gently reminds you that this stage is about consistency, not intensity. God says you do not need dramatic changes to prove that growth is happening. Real transformation shows up in how you respond, how you choose, and how you protect your peace. You may notice now that you no longer feel the urge to explain yourself to everyone. Silence feels comfortable. Boundaries feel natural. This is not distance, this is wisdom settling in. There was a time when uncertainty made you anxious, when waiting felt uncomfortable, and when stillness felt like stagnation. But now, something within you understands that stillness can also be strength. God says you are learning to move from clarity instead of pressure. That is why your steps may feel slower, but they are more certain. Michael says when the heart is aligned, there is no need to rush, because what is meant to arrive will not miss you. Pay attention to how your inner voice has changed. It no longer criticizes you the way it once did. It guides you. It pauses you before mistakes. It comforts you when doubt tries to return. This is the result of what was settled in the unseen. You are becoming more aware of what feels right and what quietly drains you. God says this awareness is protection. You are also learning that not everything requires a reaction. Some things simply require understanding. Some situations resolve themselves when you stop forcing outcomes. Michael says this is where peace deepens. When you trust that guidance is active even when you are not trying to control every detail. Remain steady in this awareness. Stay connected to messages that strengthen your clarity and calm your spirit. And if this guidance continues to resonate, support this growing channel by staying subscribed and sharing it with those who may need reassurance. Remember, alignment is not loud. It is quiet, steady, and deeply powerful. Michael speaks with calm certainty now, because God says this phase is about integration. What you have been understanding, feeling, and learning is no longer separate from your daily life. It is becoming part of who you are. You may notice that you handle situations differently without consciously trying. Your reactions are softer. Your decisions feel cleaner. You are not second-guessing yourself the way you once did. This is the truth settling in. There was a time when you felt torn between what you wanted and what you felt was right. That inner conflict drained you. God says that conflict is easing now. Alignment brings simplicity. You begin to want what supports your peace instead of what feeds your anxiety. Michael reminds you that this is not giving up on dreams. It is choosing dreams that do not cost your well-being. You may also notice that your energy is becoming more selective. You are present, but not available to everything. You listen, but you do not absorb what does not belong to you. This discernment is not coldness. It is clarity. God says when clarity grows, emotional balance follows naturally. This stage teaches you that you do not need to fix everything around you. Some things heal when you stop interfering. Some answers arrive when you stop asking the same questions repeatedly. Michael says trust the quiet confidence you are developing. It is guiding you correctly. Stay grounded in this awareness. Let your actions come from calm understanding, not from urgency or fear. And if these messages continue to bring you steadiness, remain connected to this channel. Share it with those who may be searching for the same sense of peace. Remember, alignment does not announce itself. It reveals itself through a life that feels lighter, clearer, and more intentional. Michael speaks one more time with a sense of completion, because God says this phase is about forward movement that feels natural instead of forced. You are no longer standing at the edge of understanding. You are stepping into it. What once felt uncertain now feels manageable. What once felt heavy now feels distant. This is not because challenges disappeared, but because your inner position changed. You are no longer reacting from old patterns. You are responding from clarity. God says you may begin to notice subtle confirmations in your daily life. Small moments that reassure you. Simple outcomes that work in your favor without effort. These are not coincidences. They are alignment showing itself quietly. Michael reminds you that when you stop resisting the flow, life begins to meet you halfway. You are learning when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent. This balance is strength. There was a time when you felt like you were always catching up. Always behind. God says that belief no longer serves you. You are not late. You are precisely where your growth allows you to be. From this point forward, progress will feel steady, not rushed. Your confidence will come from consistency, not from validation. Carry this understanding with you. Let it shape how you move, how you decide, and how you trust yourself. If these messages have guided you through confusion into clarity, remain connected to this channel. Share it with those who may need reassurance. And remember this truth: when divine alignment settles in, life does not become louder, it becomes clearer. Michael speaks with reassurance, because God says this phase is about trust becoming lived experience, not just understanding. You are no longer trying to believe. You are beginning to know. The calm you feel now is not temporary. It is the result of alignment settling into your daily rhythm. You may notice that worries still appear, but they no longer stay. They pass through without taking control. This is growth that lasts. There was a time when you questioned every pause, every delay, every unexpected turn. God says those questions served their purpose, but they no longer need to lead you. Your path is becoming clearer because you are clearer. Michael reminds you that confidence does not mean having all the answers. It means trusting your direction even when details unfold slowly. You are learning to move forward without dragging the past behind you. Pay attention to how your choices feel now. They come with less tension and more certainty. You are not forcing outcomes. You are allowing them. This is the shift. God says when intention is pure and calm, resistance fades. What once felt complicated begins to simplify. What once felt heavy begins to release. You are also learning that peace is not the absence of challenges. It is the presence of stability within them. Michael says this stability is your anchor. It keeps you grounded while life continues to move. Stay present with it. Protect it. Let it guide how you speak, how you respond, and how you invest your energy. If this message continues to steady your heart, remain connected to this channel and share it with those who may need reassurance. Remember, true guidance does not demand attention. It earns trust by bringing clarity, balance, and quiet